online? The average person is connected almost 7 hours a day. And all that shopping, banking, browsing, and sharing could mean exposing your personal information. In fact, 64% of adults admit to risking online privacy for convenience. Is it any wonder that 26% of people had malware on one of their devices? Or that there's a victim of identity theft every 3 seconds? Your digital life may be in lots of places, but there's one place to help keep it safe. Norton 360 with LifeLock. With security to help block hackers from your devices, a VPN to help keep your online activity private, and LifeLock identity theft protection. Now you can get up to 25% off your first year of Norton 360 with LifeLock with promo code TV offer. Call to start your membership or visit lifelock.com/TV offer.
From our Denver studios, it's America's Voice Live with Tudor Dixon and Steve Gruber. America's Voice Live.
This is America's Voice Live on the Friday before Election Day, October 30th, 2020. I'm Tudor Dixon with my friend Steve Gruber by my side. Steve, let's take a look at today's top stories.
Well, Tudor, as you know, and I think everybody knows, we are in the final days now of the campaign, and believe it or not, Joe Biden has decided to join the festivities. He's heading out on the road to join the president out there. Both will have three campaign stops today. Not unusual for the president, but different for Joe Biden.
It's true, but while the candidates are buzzing around the country, officials in big cities are boarding up buildings and ramping up security in preparation for riots on election night.
And as we hear about the entire city of El Paso going into a 2-week quarantine, we'll have the Republican congressional candidate here with us live from that district on the program to address the new bombshell whistleblower report that U.S. first responders are actually picking up COVID-positive patients from across the border in Mexico.
That is shocking news, and we're finding this out just days before the election. Let's take a look at the election countdown.
We're now just 4 days out from the election, as you know, both candidates fighting for votes, especially in Florida, where both President Trump and Joe Biden stopped yesterday. It's a critical state. Everybody's pretty much of the opinion that if Donald Trump wins Florida, he's in the race, and if he does not, Joe Biden is in the driver's seat. They had very different messages for the Sunshine State yesterday. Let's begin with President Trump.
Under Biden's lockdown, countless Americans will die from suicide, drug overdoses, deferred medical care, abuse. The thing that's happening to families is the cure. Remember, I said it right at the beginning. The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. And you have Michigan locked down. You have all Democrat governors. You know what's going to happen? On November 4th, the day after the election, they're going to open it up. They're doing it for political reasons because it's so bad for their state. And they think our numbers are going to look a little worse. California's pretty much locked down. New York's got to open. New York is becoming a very unsafe ghost town. Governor, open up the state, governor. Open up the state.
There you have it. The message from the president is we need to move forward, learn to live with the virus, and open up the economies of the various states and help out people that live there. We'll see how that plays out. Joe Biden's message, as you can imagine, very different from the former vice president. Here are some of his comments.
And we shouldn't be politicizing the race for a vaccine. We should be planning for its safe use and free and equitable distribution, providing PPE for national standards for schools, businesses to open safely. I laid out a plan back in May how to do that. Bringing together Republicans and Democrats to deliver economic relief that's already been passed by the Democratic House of Representatives for working families, for schools and businesses. I've said it before, I'm not going to shut down the economy. I'm not going to shut down the country. I'm going to shut down the virus.
Wonder how he's going to do that. At any rate, his running mate, as you know, Tudor, Kamala Harris, said she wouldn't trust a vaccine if it was put out before Donald Trump left office. Pretty remarkable, don't you think?
Absolutely, and yet they keep saying that it is President Trump who is politicizing the vaccine. Well, both of these folks, as you said, are going to be out on the campaign trail today. President Trump will hold 3 rallies in 3 different states on Friday. He will rally in Waterford Township, Michigan. He will go to Green Bay, Wisconsin, and also Rochester, Minnesota. Minnesota is one that both of them definitely want to win, and Biden will also be out. This is a really shocking development. This is actually the first time he's traveled at this pace since he secured the Democrat nomination. And so he will be out today in Wisconsin. He will go to Iowa, Des Moines, Iowa, and St. Paul, Minnesota as well. And Steve, something really exciting is happening tonight, or tomorrow night, I should say. This is the first time in 76 years we will have a blue moon on Halloween. So according to NASA Earth and the Old Farmer's Almanac, this is the last time we had a blue moon on Halloween. Now that moon looks blue. It really won't look blue when you see it tomorrow night. But the last time we saw a blue moon was 1944 on Halloween. So we won't have another blue moon for a very long time. But what a blue moon is that it's the second full moon of the month. So we had a harvest moon on October 1st, and we will have this blue moon on Halloween. And Steve, you know what? I've heard that blue moons are insane when it comes to, and full moons, when it comes to ER and all of that. And honestly, in a pandemic year, I'm a little bit nervous about the full moon on Halloween.
On a Saturday, no less. On a Saturday, which also adds to all the excitement. So you've got all of that going on. I did want to back up and mention one thing from the rally in Minnesota, if you didn't hear this. The Democrat Party, the Attorney General there, Keith Ellison, for President Trump's stop in Rochester, Minnesota today. 250 people, maximum allowed in there. They tried to change venues a couple of times. The folks in Minnesota came in and threatened them with shutting down the entire thing. So, moving on, Halloween at the White House. Kids will be dressed up at Halloween. Of course, it's coming up Saturday, the Halloween festivities at the White House. And how adorable are kids that dress up as President Trump and Melania? That's part of the attraction for Halloween at the White House. Great place to enjoy the time there. There you have to have it. I don't know what's going to happen with Halloween. Tudor, we both have children. I haven't checked the local regulations here, but I'm guessing it'll be drive-by candy throwing and things of that nature. You can set out plastic bags so that kids can pick up Halloween candy, I suppose. But it's all coming up tomorrow. Tudor, Halloween is upon us, and in a very different year, to say the least.
Yeah, it'll definitely be different. In our neighborhood, we are allowed to trick-or-treat, so we will be out trick-or-treating tomorrow. Actually, I'm hoping to send my husband, and I'll stay in the warmth because it's in most parts of the country, it's 20 degrees below what it would be normally. So I am not personally excited about trick-or-treating. But one thing, I want to just switch gears here and go out to Minnesota because people in Minnesota are not necessarily excited about this. At least Democrats aren't. There was a new ruling that absentee ballots that arrive after 8 p.m. on Election Day, they have to be segregated. So they haven't decided what they'll do with them. They aren't sure if they will be counted or not. They'll be segregated. They will review them after the election is complete and see what they're going to do with them. But Democrats not so happy about this, not sure what will happen with those ballots coming in after 8 p.m., Steve.
I think they should do that in Pennsylvania, North Carolina as well. As you know, those states also allowing people to send in ballots, and if they get there after 8 o'clock on election night, which is the deadline for pretty much all states, those could possibly get counted as well. You know, what was interesting about the ruling in Minnesota is originally they had said, well, they had to have a postmark of election day or they couldn't be counted. And then they said if they don't have a postmark, just make the presumption that they were there on time. Absolutely unbelievable. Meanwhile, people are preparing for unrest after the election. Nobody's quite sure what's going to happen, obviously, but there's a lot of concern in different cities around the country. And with law enforcement, there could be unrest, rioting, if you will, in the streets. New York City luxury buildings have hired armed guards with machine pistols. And apparently these protection services are getting big money to protect the fancy luxury buildings in New York City. It's not the only place, but they're preparing that there could be unrest in the streets. And so that's kind of a big deal in New York City. And that's not the only place, Tudor.
No, it's not. They're doing this in D.C. too. They're very concerned about what's going to happen in Washington, D.C. This is in the midst of riots that are occurring. But you're right. In New York, you said they are going to have machine-type guns outside of these buildings. In fact, they're hiring off-duty police officers rather than private security because of what happened in Denver, 2 weeks ago. They don't want anybody accidentally shooting, but they will have security outside in New York. But this is also happening in D.C. They are boarding everything up in D.C. Steve, you heard about these riots that are going on every night now.
We did. Yeah, we heard about the riots. There was a moped driver that was involved in a police chase. He was killed during that chase. Riots have ensued in the nation's capital. You don't hear much about this, however, on the mainstream media. You have to ask yourself why. The riots in Philadelphia got almost no coverage. The riots in D.C. over the last couple of days, very little coverage as well. And you have to ask yourself, why is that? Except to say this, Tudor, we have seen that rioting in the streets is not good for polling. People don't seem to like rioting in their cities here in America. I can only imagine why. It's America's Voice Live on a Friday. We'll be right back.
If you're over 50, imagine you could turn back the clock on your stiff, achy joints 10, even 20 years. Imagine you could do this without products that just temporarily hide the symptoms and may have side effects. Imagine no more. Get your complimentary sample of Instaflex Advanced just by texting JOINT to 231231. Instaflex Advanced is different because it targets the root cause of joint soreness and stiffness. It doesn't just cover up symptoms. Instead, it bathes your joints in its unique combination of 5 key natural ingredients found in no other product. Key ingredients backed by 5 clinical studies. Instaflex Advanced is so powerful, you could have better knees in just 1 week. Maybe that's why it's #1 at GNC. But you can only get your complimentary sample by texting JOINT to 231231. Plus, text now and we'll include a tube of Instaflex pain cream with its exclusive oxygenated oil for fast-acting relief from the pain of arthritis, backaches, and sore muscles, absolutely free. Text JOINT to 231231.
Feel like you live a lot of your life online? The average person is connected almost 7 hours a day. And all that shopping, banking, browsing, and sharing can mean exposing your personal information. In fact, 64% of adults admit to risking online privacy for convenience. Is it any wonder that 26% of people had malware on one of their devices? Or that there's a victim of identity theft every 3 seconds? Your digital life may be in lots of places, but there's one place to help keep it safe. Norton 360 with LifeLock. With security to help block hackers from your devices, a VPN to help keep your online activity private, and LifeLock identity theft protection. Now, you can get up to 25% off your first year of Norton 360 with LifeLock with promo code TV offer. Call to start your membership or visit lifelock.com/TV offer.
This is the kind of card that has America talking. With it, people with Medicare are getting all-in-one coverage for their doctor visits, hospital care, prescription drugs, and more. This kind of insurance, called Medicare Part C, may also cover dental care, eyeglasses, hearing aids, fitness programs, vitamins, even healthy meals and rides to the doctor. With this kind of coverage, you do not need a Medicare supplement insurance plan. You will access your benefits through your Medicare Part C plan for one low and oftentimes $0 monthly plan premium. You deserve to get the most from your Medicare benefits. Call now for free information that may help you get more coverage for less money. There is no obligation to enroll. Whether for yourself or someone you love, call the number on the screen now. Call now.
It's been a torrid pace, to say the least, covering the news here the last few weeks and months. Really, it's been an unusual year. Welcome back to America's Voice Live on a Friday. And honestly, Tudor, the pace doesn't get any easier. You think you would have a day where it slows down here and there. That never seems to happen.
It does not. It does not. And the president has been talking quite a bit about coronavirus while he's been out on the trail. Now, Joe Biden has also been talking about it. In fact, you mentioned that just in the last segment that he said he is going to take down the virus. He's not going to shut down the country. He will shut down the virus. But the question is how? We have not heard a how from him yet. Now, the president did come out and say Regeneron is potentially a cure. We've heard him say this many times. He said some people call it a treatment. I call it a cure. Well, interestingly, Regeneron is now partnering with health systems across the country. So they're partnering with 2 health systems in Michigan, and they are going to have clinical trials for people that are in the hospital already. So we have folks here where I am in Western Michigan that are already in the Spectrum Health system here. They are already getting the clinical trial of REGN-COV2. So that is exactly what the president got. That is that antibody cocktail the president received. Now, he told everybody Americans are going to get this. They're going to get this for free. We will make sure this is available. I think this is very important news, Steve, right now that we're hearing that hospitals across the country, 2 in Michigan and 2 systems in Michigan, so many hospitals in Michigan are already giving that treatment to patients that are in the hospital right now. Well, when the president got Regeneron, I saw some people on social media remarking that he was the only person in the country that could get such a thing. Actually, he was about patient 800 or so that got Regeneron when he was sick with COVID-19 here a few weeks ago. He recovered quickly, as you know, and he has bragged about it to many people ever since, about how he felt like Superman, and it made him feel terrific. Now, it's been an unusual year to say the least. Even a trip to the grocery store turned surreal time and again for us. Things were missing off the shelves. No toilet paper. Other shelves have been cleared out. And now a trip to the grocery store could mean a test for COVID, believe it or not. Kroger stores are putting together a rapid antibody test for just $25. If you want to know, hey, I was not feeling well here a few weeks ago. I think I might have had COVID. Now you might be able to find out. Go to your local Kroger supermarket and you can get that test for $25. What a bargain. What a deal. You could probably do it for the whole family, Tudor. You could take your whole herd of children along, get them all the test, and find out if you've been sick or not. But it's really important. A lot of people want to know because so many people had symptoms and didn't end up going in, especially those folks like you. You felt like you might have had it. You actually had an antibody test, but it was hard for you. You had to wait in line. You had to drive away. So now if you are near a Kroger, I'm sure other stores will also start to roll this out. But right now, Kroger has it. So if you are near a Kroger, you feel like you may have had coronavirus, you can go check for $25. But I want to switch gears now to Anonymous. We've all heard this story, Anonymous, the man who wrote the anonymous op-ed in the New York Times. Everyone said, holy cow, the president is a terrible guy. This must have been a chief of staff or someone incredibly high level. Well, it turns out it was Miles Taylor, although he didn't want to admit that. Here he is.
There was an op-ed, there was a book by someone calling themselves Anonymous. Are you aware of who that is?
I'm not. Look, and that was a parlor game that happened in Washington, D.C. of a lot of folks trying to think of who that might be. I've got my own thoughts about who that might be, but I want my focus to be on the president, and I certainly don't want to. I wear a mask for 2 things, Anderson: Halloweens and pandemics. So no.
Now he has come forward and said it is him. He is the author, and apparently he wears masks for more than that. But people are ridiculing him, extremely ridiculing him over just that. He was hired by CNN. He works for CNN now. He came out and lied to Anderson Cooper's face on a news network that says that they are the real news. Some people argue with that.
Who's surprised by this? I mean, honestly, who's surprised by this, Tudor? I mean, look at these folks. He lied in his entire op-ed. But I think much more egregious than the fact that Miles Taylor came out and he was a chief of staff over the Department of Homeland Security. He was not a high-level person with access to the president. He was none of those things. What's worse is that the nation's paper of record, the New York Times, published that garbage. The fact that the New York Times would allow an anonymous author to put forth an op-ed of that nature and give it that kind of credibility when we now know that it had none. I mean, it's not surprising in this day and age of journalism and the antics, if you will, that they play, blocking out stories. You can't hear about what's going on with Hunter Biden and Joe Biden and Jim Biden because we're blocked out and blacked out from that information. Social media playing right along, Twitter and Facebook doing much of the same. And then important papers. The New York Times is supposed to be a foundational paper with real journalists. Everything that's fit to print. Well, that was not fit to print. The old gray lady just isn't what she used to be. That would be my takeaway from this. And the New York Times really ought to be embarrassed by the fact that this person has come forward and said, yes, I am anonymous. Not good for the credibility of the New York Times or for the news media in general. Just my 2 cents.
But think about what you're saying is that they allowed this to go on, really didn't vet it. They had no idea whether or not the story was true. Ultimately, it comes out from a very low-level person that probably didn't have any access at all. But they attacked Tom Cotton. Remember, not that long ago, he submitted an op-ed to the New York Times. Everybody freaked out there, said it can't be published. They got to rip it down. He has now been told, oh, we're going to be open to everybody. I heard Tom Cotton just a few days ago saying, well, I think it's time for me to submit another op-ed to the New York Times because obviously anybody can do it now. I think it is just an example, though, of conservatives getting squashed. Yes, Steve.
And Glenn Greenwald resigns from The Intercept because of censorship of the very place that he created as well. Back on America's Voice Live.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm here to tell you about my new product from MyPillow. Towels that actually work. Watch this absorbency test. Here's another towel that we randomly went out and bought. Here's one of my towels with the nice design. I don't know if you can see this, but you could line a swimming pool with this. I mean, this is crazy. Get rid of it. Towels that actually work. What a concept.
I really love the towels. They're really great. They're super absorbent.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now. The new MyPillow towels are exclusively made with 100% USA combed cotton with proprietary technology and with maximum absorbency. They dry you faster and are guaranteed to work. And listen to this. Use the promo code on your screen and Mike will include a second full towel set with bath towel, hand towel, and washcloth absolutely free. That's 2 MyPillow towel sets for the price of 1 in your choice of color.
I personally guarantee they're going to be the best towels you'll ever own.
Order now.
So Frank, you're the big hurt. Why do you need Nugenix?
After 40, a guy loses free testosterone. Even me. I couldn't stay in shape like I used to.
Frank. So does Nugenix really work?
Oh yeah, my workouts are incredible now. I'm feeling stronger, more energetic, with a lot more drive.
Frank.
So say I knew someone who should try Nugenix. How does he do that?
It's easy. Just send a text to get a complimentary bottle.
Frank's right. Now you can claim a complimentary bottle of award-winning Nugenix by texting BUFF to 42424. Its unique formula is powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help a man feel stronger, leaner, more energetic, and more passionate. Text BUFF to 42424 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of new Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. That's BUFF to 42424.
Hello, I'm William Shatner, and you may not know this about me, but years ago, I was diagnosed with a sleep disorder. And like millions of others, I was prescribed sleep equipment. Did you know sleep equipment manufacturers recommend daily cleaning? That's why I use SoClean 2. It's the perfect complement to my daily routine, and it's hassle-free. SoClean 2 is fast and easy. It keeps my sleep equipment fresh every day without the need for disassembly. To keep the immune system strong, we should do everything we can to ensure a good night's sleep, including using the SoClean 2 daily to keep sleep equipment fresh. Try SoClean 2 risk-free for 30 nights. Order now and get $50 off. SoClean 2 is so fast and gives you peace of mind that your sleep equipment is fresh each time you use it. Call the number on your screen or go to SoClean2.com to take advantage of this risk-free trial and get $50 off. Call now.
Welcome back to America's Voice Live. Our next guest, Lance Wallnau. He is the author of God's Chaos Code. I want to bring Lance in now. Lance, welcome to the program. You are the author of the book God's Chaos Code, and the USA Today recognizes you as one of 3 evangelicals that accurately predicted a Trump victory in 2016. What did you base those predictions on? I think Lance may be having a little trouble hearing us. Lance, did you hear my question? Okay, we're going to try to get back to Lance. Let's move on. Steve, I want to talk about Joe Biden and his inability to have an entire interview with a local news person. He says he's doing media, but he doesn't seem to be doing media. Check out what this Nevada reporter said happened when she tried to interview him.
We just completed Operation Autumn Hope. Over 50 law enforcement agencies and social service providers, in addition, who conducted a human trafficking sting all across the state. Human trafficking only exists when there's supply and demand. So we're enforcing Ohio's laws about promoting prostitution, about solicitation.
Well, it's a good program. There is that. Autumn Hope is a good program for human trafficking, and we congratulate the folks at law enforcement on getting that done. Do we have the tape now? Because you're right about this. What I saw yesterday in Florida was a citizen step up at the Joe Biden event. If you didn't see that, Tudor stepped up and started asking Joe Biden about Hunter Biden, and the 30 or 40 people there around Joe started yelling at the guy. But if the media won't do its job, you have to step in. But the problem that you just pointed out, Tudor, it's not just that the media won't do their job. They're not allowed to do their job. The handlers around Joe Biden, the bouncers, if you will, keep everybody at arm's length. You can't get close to Joe Biden. You can't ask him a serious question. It's not allowed. It's against the rules. He's insulated, both on social media and in practice. And what's really upsetting to me is that I've done this for a number of years. I have never seen a more complicit mainstream media basically refusing to vet a candidate. It doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat, whatever your political stripes may be. It's quite painfully obvious that one candidate gets very harsh questions, sometimes caustic, if you will. Another candidate gets no questions at all. Let's hear what this reporter had to say. Roll the tape.
I had a list of questions for the interview, but I was cut off after only 2 questions. We'll have a little more for you coming up at 5, but again, I was only given about 5 minutes with the Democratic presidential candidate, even with Nevada being a swing state. Biden apologized, but his campaign ended the Zoom interview.
And which is what they continue to do whenever there's any questions of any substance. The interviews are ended. Whenever there's any questions that have value to, say, voters, the interview is ended. If this guy can't negotiate a conversation with a local reporter in the state of Nevada, how's he going to sit down with heads of state that are adversaries of the United States? How would that happen? It's not a political question. It's a straightforward question. The media in this country has a responsibility, a duty, if you will, to ask real questions of candidates that are running for the highest offices in the land. It's kind of what they're supposed to do. It's required. And when you don't do your job as the media, listen, the democratic process was quite softball. And then the general election has been quite softball for Joe Biden. We don't know if he's up for the task. Most of the time he's spent in Delaware. Hasn't even been out on the campaign trail. Today he's going to do 3 stops. It's remarkable. It's the most work he's done in, well, since he left being vice president, I believe. There you have it, Tudor. I think that the media is not doing its job, and when they try to do their job, they're cut off by the campaign.
We've seen this several times. He did this back in July. We saw it just last week in Wisconsin. Actually, his handler comes on the air and says, "We're done." It's bizarre, and you're right, Steve. He's not going to have handlers breaking in when he's talking to heads of state. Stay tuned. We'll be right back on America's Voice Live.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I guarantee you they'll be the most comfortable sheets you'll ever own.
With the Giza Dream Sheets, I'm getting the best sleep of my life. They are so soft and smooth. I never slept so good.
I fall asleep faster because I'm actually comfortable.
I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable, which is why I can give you my full 10-year warranty. But I didn't stop there. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. I guarantee you the first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now. MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors and will be the softest, most comfortable sheets you will ever own. Use the promo code and get 2 for 1 low price, plus free shipping. Giza Dreams are made with the finest, most sought-after cotton in the world. Giza cotton was once reserved for only the finest dress shirts, but is now available in Mike's Giza Dream Sheets. They feature a beautiful silky sateen weave that helps keep you cool and comfortable all night long.
With the Giza Dream Sheets, I'm getting the best rest of my life.
I love my Giza Dream Sheets.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Use the promo code and Mike will give you a very special 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. That's right, get 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. Call or go online now.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
This is the kind of card that has America talking. With it, people with Medicare are getting all-in-one coverage for their doctor visits, hospital care, prescription drugs, and more. This kind of insurance, called Medicare Part C, may also cover dental care, eyeglasses, hearing aids, fitness programs, vitamins, even healthy meals and rides to the doctor. With this kind of coverage, you do not need a Medicare supplement insurance plan. You will access your benefits through your Medicare Part C plan for one low and oftentimes $0 monthly plan premium. You deserve to get the most from your Medicare benefits. Call now for free information that may help you get more coverage for less money. There is no obligation to enroll. Whether for yourself or someone you love, call the number on the screen now. Call now.
The American people, when they turn on the news, they want just the news. Spare me the talking points. I think people are sick of the freak parade on cable TV, night in and night out. People are consuming news these days everywhere, on every device. And we're going to be there. We're going to be fair. We're going to be fearless. We feel like we have a responsibility to you, the American people. News and opinions that are honest and real. Real America's voice.
Yesterday, we brought you the story of Operation Autumn Hope. I want you to take a look at this, and then we're going to bring in Jaco Boyens to discuss. Take a look.
We just completed Operation Autumn Hope. Over 50 law enforcement agencies and social service providers, in addition, who conducted a human trafficking sting all across the state. Human trafficking only exists when there's supply and demand. So we're enforcing Ohio's laws about promoting prostitution, about solicitation, also against the Johns who provide the demand and the money to drive this illicit trade.
This was a big deal. 45 children were recovered in Ohio, 109 victims in total. I want to bring in Jaco Boyens. He is a sex trafficking expert. Jaco, welcome back to the show. This is a story that's very important, but we're not hearing a lot about it.
Yeah, no, the left's not going to talk about this. Mainstream media is not going to talk about it because it actually just makes the point that law enforcement is so needed in this country, Tudor. We need law enforcement, and without law enforcement, our people are not safe. Our children are not safe. And well done, Ohio. And again, this is on the heels of the initiative laid out there by President Trump. We saw last week DHS launching a new initiative for interagency collaboration. This was an interagency effort in Ohio. You need law enforcement to work together, and we need to fund law enforcement because this is what it looks like when we do. There's results.
Well, this is what people don't understand about law enforcement, is that they are doing things behind the scene that you never know about if it doesn't affect you directly, but it could so easily affect you directly because, as he said, for there to be supply, there has to be demand. So there are people out there looking for this, and children have worth in this market. So your kids, no matter where you are in danger because of this. Now, they said that they made these 179 arrests. Can you describe to us exactly who they're arresting in situations like this?
Yeah, predominantly who's going to be arrested will be the pimp, or what we call the trafficker, the individual that's, defrauding or coercing, the individual. But what was really good in this case, they also arrested what we call Johns, right? The buyer of the crime, which without a buyer, there is no crime. And we've normalized, illicit sexual activity in this country to where we're going to give the buyer rights in this country. And so this is very, very good that now a state who 5 years ago did not want to believe it was in the state are actually going after demand. So you saw arrests of pimps and then buyers. And then, of course, some of the women, would have been taken into custody if they were not minors. And the minors then being treated well and being placed in facilities where they can be well taken care of, or at times, depending on the situation, returned home.
Now, according to the U.S. Marshals, they came out and said that over the past 5 years, they've recovered missing children in 75% of the cases they've received, and 72% of those were recovered within 7 days. How significant are those numbers?
Those numbers are very significant. That's why when we made the movie 8 Days, we took 8 days as a number just to show what could happen in 8 days. And don't think for 1 second when a child is just trafficked for a day, 2 days, or 8 days. The level of destruction in that child is unimaginable, right? But the numbers are so significant because it shows finally how prevalent this crime is in our country, Tudor. And it's in every state. It's literally in every zip code. Because it is sex and because we have normalized and at times written laws to promote, the behavior of pedophiles and the profilers online.
Well, I want to talk to you about that because Twitter came out and did something that maybe we weren't expecting Twitter to do. They're saying you can no longer normalize. So they finally banned promoting or normalizing sexual attraction to minors. How big of a deal is that?
It's huge. We've been asking for big tech to actually self-govern because they're protected under Section 230, which we should argue whether they should still be under Section 230. But for now, Twitter stepped up and said, look, this shouldn't happen. Now, it's on the heels of the Hunter Biden fiasco. And so a part of me wants to say, well, did they do this because they're trying to also, show good face? Look, for now, kudos to Twitter. I want to see them follow through. And then I would like to see them report the cases that they have identified on Twitter and report those to the police and help us apprehend the perpetrators and rescue the victims. I mean, if you're going to do this, go all the way. Really collaborate with law enforcement.
Absolutely. And that's what we've heard so much, is that there are so many people out there on Twitter. There's a whole undercurrent, dirty underbelly of child sex traffickers out there talking about things like this, and nobody's doing anything. So hopefully this is a step in the right direction. Jaco Booyens, sex trafficking expert, thank you so much for coming on. It's so important to highlight these stories because the American people need to know this danger is out there. It's something that Jaco and I talk about every time that he's on this program. Americans don't understand. They feel safe, and this is happening in all of our states. So what we see in Ohio is a great achievement, but sadly, it's something that we need to be warned about as parents. Steve, other people need to be warned about things too, because apparently there's someone out there targeting government officials.
Well, they were out there. They're now in jail, 14 people. You heard the stories here just a couple of weeks ago about a plan to target Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, but apparently she was not alone. In fact, these plotters wanted to hang President Trump. They wanted to do the same for former Presidents Bill Clinton and Barack Obama, and they targeted South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster. So they wanted to kill both Republicans and Democrats, including posts on Facebook and so forth. That was part of the research and investigation done by the FBI, and all 14 people have been charged with crimes in state and federal courts, including members and associates of an obscure militia group called the Wolverine Watchmen. Now, the Watchman had names like Alpha FU, Red Hot, Gunny, Beaker, Debased Tyrant. Apparently that's because the more common names of Twit, Weasel, and Imbecile were already taken. These are about the dumbest group of people I've ever heard of. They were going to kidnap a governor on an island in the middle of Lake Michigan. Well, genius. And then what are you going to do? Get in your motorboat and speed away? Let me tell you something. Motorola, you know the radios? They're faster than your little motorboat. Weasel, or is it Imbecile? Is it Twit? I see Beaker, Gunny. Not friends of mine. Tudor, do you know these folks? I don't know these people.
No, but I think the interesting part about this story is that when this story first broke, we kept hearing Democrats saying this was because of Trump's narrative, that this was putting the governor of Michigan in jeopardy. Then we found out that Ralph Northam might also be in jeopardy. But now we're hearing about Republicans. And one of these folks also on a social media post allegedly threatened to hang the president. So this is not a Republican or Democrat situation. This is a crazy lunatic situation that people that just genuinely don't like government.
Right, or thinking, for that matter. That wasn't big on their list of accomplishments. Thinking. Again, let's talk about stealing a governor on an island in the middle of Lake Michigan. These geniuses were really only a danger to themselves, it seems to me. But you haven't heard about the Republicans being targeted because the mainstream media apparently doesn't want to share that nugget of information with you. We do, here on America's Voice Live.
Stay tuned to get a free pan from Granite Stone. Stuck on eggs, burnt on batter. You can scrub and scrape, but you can't escape the nightmare of your sticky pans. Introducing the Granite Stone Pan, the all-new durable non-stick pan. No butter or oil needed. Watch, we melted down these sticky candies in Granite Stone, and it just doesn't stick. We cooked a half a dozen eggs, bacon, cheese, and tomato breakfast with no butter or oil, and it just doesn't stick. Look, caramels, chocolate, and cheese. Unreal for any other pan, but not for Granite Stone. It just doesn't stick. Granite Stone will be the last pan you'll ever need because it's pressed from a solid aluminum disc for even heat conduction, then coated 3 times with our durable Granite Stone finish. Granite Stone is metal utensil safe and won't scratch. And talk about non-stick. This salmon cooked skin side down with no added butter or oil just doesn't stick. This steak is perfectly seared just like the pros. And because Granite Stone is oven rated to 500 degrees, we bake this upside down pan pizza to perfection, and it just doesn't stick. Fire Flambe Delicious Cherries Jubilee. Plus, it's PFOA free and 100% dishwasher safe. Call or go online to get your Granite Stone pan for the special TV discount price of just $19.99. Granite Stone is so durable it comes with a 10-year warranty. And with every order, you're going to get a Granite Stone single-serve egg pan absolutely free. It's the perfect size for personalized eggs, omelets, or frittatas that slide right out. It makes the best bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich quick. Yours absolutely free. We'll even ship your entire order free. That's right, free shipping. You get it all, an incredible value. Here's how to order.
To order, call 1-800-850-0237. That's 1-800-850-0237, or order online at buygranitestone.com. That's 1-800-850-0237. Call now.
So, Frank, you're the big hurt. Why do you need Nugenix?
After 40, a guy loses free testosterone. Even me. I couldn't stay in shape like I used to.
Frank! So does Nugenix really work?
Oh, yeah. My workouts are incredible now. I'm feeling stronger, more energetic, with a lot more drive.
Frank. So, say I knew someone who should try Nugenix. How does he do that?
It's easy. Just send a text to get a complimentary bottle.
Frank's right. Now you can claim a complimentary bottle of award-winning Nugenix by texting BUFF to 42424. Its unique formula is powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help a man feel stronger, leaner, more energetic, and more passionate. Text BUFF to 42424 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of new Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. That's BUFF to 42424.
4 days until the November 3rd election gets here for all of us, and for Kamala Harris, she's traveling Texas as Democrats continue to dream of the idea of turning Texas blue. 45 electoral vote would change the landscape possibly for years to come. Here's part of what Kamala Harris had to say on the road in the Lone Star State.
Look, we're there to talk to all the voters, and frankly, we're traveling all over the country. As you know, I was just in Michigan, Ohio, North Carolina. I'll be back in North Carolina, Pennsylvania, even you name it. I've been there. And we're talking to people everywhere. And there's no area that's off limits because, of course, the people in all of these areas have so much at stake in this election. And we want to listen to them, but we also want to let them know that we see them.
Great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Senator. Thanks, guys.
All right, one of the big conversations in Texas right now is focused on El Paso, Texas, where there is a 2-week lockdown in place, a quarantine, if you will, because of a surge in COVID-19 positive patients there. But a whistleblower is being reported on local news stations saying that ambulances, first responders, are going over the border in Mexico to pick up Mexican nationals that have COVID-19, sometimes 3, 4, and 5 at a time, to bring them back into El Paso. Joining me now, a congressional candidate for Texas 16, Irene Armendariz Jackson. Irene, welcome to the program. Good to have you here. Appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure and an honor.
So tell me about this. This seems very unusual. It seems striking if we have American ambulances running across the border into Mexico to pick up COVID-19 patients and then bring them to hospitals in Texas and then putting Texas in lockdown. Is that what you're hearing as well?
Yes, of course. We had a preliminary report before it had actually hit the news to let us know that this was coming out. Now, I just want to make it clear, the ambulances are not going over the border. They're actually meeting them at the bridge and then bringing them over. What was kind of funny is that when I was getting the report on this, there was actually one of those ambulances that passed right in front of me. We were in the downtown area, and I told my friend who was driving me around that day, follow that ambulance, as I was hearing from the person that was letting me know. And we followed him to one of the local hospitals, and of course there was several people that were taken off. We have video of it. It is unfortunate that our local representative, who is Veronica Escobar, that's actually the hospital, the one you're showing, where I filmed, but that she has chosen to advocate for foreigners instead of the people of El Paso. If our hospitals are being overrun, it is not because of the people of El Paso, the citizens of the United States. Unfortunately, one of the consequences is that people that are actually citizens of El Paso, citizens of the United States, are being flown to cities like Dallas because of the overcrowding. Now, we have a preliminary report also that there is some tents that have been ordered, and these are to house over 100 people. Where are these patients coming from is what we want to know.
Let me ask you this, Irene. Yeah, let me ask you this. Hasn't it always been part of federal immigration law that those that are coming into this country, Ellis Island comes to mind because you had to do health checks, you had to have a health evaluation. You didn't just come across the bridge potentially ill with a fatal disease that could be passed to other people in the United States. It has always been the policy of the federal government of the United States to prevent people that have communicable diseases from coming in. Wouldn't this be a gross violation of federal law, possibly Texas law, possibly just of common sense in general?
Well, yeah, definitely federal law. Immigration is not a Texas issue. It is a federal issue. Now, when you go to Ciudad Juarez and ask for a visa or a passport, there's actually clinics in the area that actually give you these tests. And unfortunately, people are just going to the border and claiming asylum. You know, this whole asylum crisis has not stopped. But again, our representative, Veronica Escobar, seems to be more concerned for the citizens of another country than the citizens of El Paso.
So what do we do about this? Obviously, there are some concerns that on November 3rd, if Joe Biden and Kamala Harris win the election, they'll stop construction on the border wall. As many as 22 million illegal aliens living in the country will be given a short path to citizenship. The border will be open. Free stuff will be dangled here on the American side. How do you give away free stuff? How do you open the border? How do you allow that to happen? It'll be it'll be a free-for-all, Irene.
Well, we will lose our country. We will lose the sovereignty of our country, and that is what I'm fighting for. I come from, I'm an El Pasoan. I was born and raised here, but my parents are Mexican immigrants. And the reason they came is not because they hate Mexico. They came because they wanted a better opportunity for their children. And that American dream will cease to exist if we lose our borders. It is critical not only that we hold Texas, but El Paso has been blue for over 55 years. We need to turn El Paso red.
Irene Armenteros Jackson, congressional candidate for Texas 16. I appreciate you taking the time and being here today. It's a very critical story you've brought to us today, one that I would say is alarming, to say the least, if they're bringing in or allowing COVID-19 positive patients to fill up the hospitals in El Paso. Where do they go next? We wish you best of luck in your race coming up on Tuesday, and we might touch base with you shortly thereafter. Thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it. I mean, can you imagine that? They're allowing patients that are COVID-19 positive, picking them up at the bridge after they cross over. It doesn't sound to me from the description she was giving that they were being vetted by the Border Patrol or going through the process. They're merely being picked up by the ambulance 4, 5, 6 at a time. And now you've got a big spike in Texas. The truth is a nice thing to know, isn't it? You're on America's Voice Live. We'll be right back.
America's favorite easy on, easy off energy compression socks just got better. Introducing Copperfit Energy Plus, the world's first graduated compression socks with a rich blend of ingredients found in the top moisturizing lotions and creams. These microencapsulated ingredients are infused into the compression fabric and are gradually released and absorbed by your movement. Motion-activated technology designed to hydrate and soften for all-day comfort. The more you move, the more Copperfit Energy Socks delivers.
I'm not thinking about that I have compression socks on. That simple fact that they feel better with them on than with them off makes me love these socks.
Our most advanced copper-infused compression fabric made in FDA-approved manufacturing facilities, woven into our Easy On, Easy Off graduated compression sock to help reduce swelling and discomfort from prolonged sitting or standing.
I feel that soothingness in my calves and in my ankles, but they can make my feet feel good after 300 miles on the road, and they got to be good for anybody else.
Enhanced compression around the arch and ankles for extra support and relief of muscle aches and pains. And a soft, shock-absorbing footbed for all-day comfort.
All that arch pain that I typically have is just relieved.
They are super comfortable.
They do the job. They're easy and they're effective. That's the whole point of wearing them.
Commercials always promise, promise, promise. This was something easy to try. Just put on a sock, see if it works. I have to say that I'm a fan.
The first ever Easy On, Easy Off compression socks with hydrating ingredients, worn by thousands of essential workers across the U.S. Order your Energy Plus compression socks online now at GetEnergyPlus.com for only $19.99 or call 1-800-515-8892. Order right now and get a second pair free.
I get compression, I get comfort, all in one sock.
Motorcycle guys appreciate the better technology. This is better technology.
Feel the power of Copperfit.
Hello, I'm William Shatner, and you may not know this about me, but years ago, I was diagnosed with a sleep disorder. And like millions of others, I was prescribed sleep equipment. Did you know sleep equipment manufacturers recommend daily cleaning? That's why I use SoClean 2. It's the perfect complement to my daily routine, and it's hassle-free. SoClean 2 is fast and easy. It keeps my sleep equipment fresh every day without the need for disassembly. To keep the immune system strong, we should do everything we can to ensure a good night's sleep, including using the SoClean 2 daily to keep sleep equipment fresh. Try SoClean 2 risk-free for 30 nights. Order now and get $50 off. SoClean 2 is so fast and gives you peace of mind that your sleep equipment is fresh each time you use it. Call the number on your screen or go to SoClean2.com to take advantage of this risk-free trial and get $50 off. Call now.
Welcome back to America's Voice Live on a Friday. Good to have you here, Tudor.
Yes, it is a Friday, but unfortunately it's a sad Friday in Washington, D.C. There were riots last night after a young man was killed while riding on his scooter. He was actually speeding away from police. Police were trying to pull him over because he wasn't wearing a helmet. In fact, the one police officer, it seemed as though he knew the man. He was calling out his name, Karen Hilton. Karen was 20 years old. Police were chasing after him, trying to get him to stop. For some reason, he sped away from the police. As you'll see in this video, as he's speeding away, he gets hit by a passenger vehicle. That ultimately did end his life. And then riots, of course, in Washington, D.C. last night because of this. Again, blaming the police. Steve, we've talked about this. If you're getting pulled over, stop. But unfortunately, this did end in a crash that ended in his death.
Yeah, and the riots were quite serious, to say the least. Numerous police officers injured, in part because commercial-grade fireworks were being launched into police lines. One exploded next to a group of police officers, blinding one of them. And the comments, it's the comments being said to the police officers out there trying to enforce safety for everyone. I hate for all of y'all. I hate all of you mother effers. Eat it and die. I hope all of your mothers and fathers effing have strokes in their sleep. Where do we get to a point in this country where this kind of conversation and rhetoric aimed at our police officers that are just trying to keep people safe, trying to pull over a motorist, is the right thing to do if the motorist is violating the law? As Tudor said, you stop your vehicle. And it's just... it's unbelievable to me. And then, of course, D.C. police, businesses preparing for more unrest, not only from the death of the 20-year-old moped driver, but because of the outcomes of Tuesday's upcoming elections. They're expecting unrest in D.C., the city being boarded up and protected from potential riots. Strange world in which we live. Not the world I was born into, that's for sure.
Steve, the disturbing thing is that people are not upset about what is happening in D.C. with these riots. Now, obviously, it's very upsetting that this man lost his life. It was a motor vehicle accident. It should not have happened. But ultimately, now we have 14 D.C. police officers that were injured in Wednesday night's riots. One lost their eyesight. So you have a police officer who was, those folks, those protesters, those rioters out there, they are using lasers to shoot them into the policeman's eyes. We heard this in Oregon. Remember, we heard that Portland police were experiencing this. Now we have a police officer in Washington, D.C. who has lost his eyesight, but also reports the police union reported that that's not the only injury. They said they had multiple injuries. One officer lost his eyesight, but multiple officers suffered blown eardrums from the blast. So you think about this. These are actual weapons that they have out there. So we keep hearing that these are peaceful protests. Steve, these are not peaceful protests. Well, we hear the mayor of Philadelphia come out and say, or the governor of Pennsylvania come out and say, oh, we feel so sad about these people that are in these peaceful protests. These are not peaceful protests when you hear about losing eyesight and blown eardrums.
And the other thing is, it continues to be shielded by the mainstream media. Let's talk about this. A commercial-grade mortar is about the size of a softball. It's an explosive about the size of a softball. And so when it explodes in a group of people, the chance for injury is significant, as we have learned. Ruptured eardrums, blindness, personal and permanent disabilities. Potentially, it could kill someone, which I'm going to guess might have been the goal here. This is why law and order has become one of the top issues of the 2020 campaign. Lawlessness in the streets isn't just in D.C. It's in Minneapolis and Portland. It's in Seattle. It's in Philadelphia. It's in Kenosha. And I think that voters might weigh in on that point when they go to the polls on the 3rd. We'll see how big of an issue it is to them at that point. But I'm telling you, they're the size of a softball, these mortars. And when they explode, it's a real explosive. Trust me on this.
Well, this is a threat we keep hearing. If the president wins, we will riot. That's a terrible thing to have as your motto. If you're the Democrats, they seem to be trying to hide it in these past few days, but it doesn't seem to be working. We'll be right back.
Do you have any idea how your mattress affects your body and how well you sleep? Is it too hard or too soft, causing you to wake up with sore shoulders, back, or hips? Are you uncomfortable because you're too hot or too cold? Now you can get the total body support you need and the better sleep you want with the new MyPillow mattress topper.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell. When I invented my new MyPillow mattress topper, I made it to have everything you'd ever want in a topper. My mattress topper helps give you the support you need, helps relieve your pressure points, and regulates your body temperature for you as an individual. It comes with a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry the cover. It's made in the USA, and I back it with my 60-day money-back guarantee.
Go to MyPillow.com or call now to get your very own MyPillow mattress topper. Use the promo code and Mike will give you 30% off and 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free. Order now.
MyPillow topper delivers on its promise to give me a better night's sleep.
I can sleep all night through, and it's a miracle for me.
Mike's exclusive 3-layer design starts with a layer of MyPillow foam, providing you superior support and comfort. The second layer of transitional foam evenly distributes body weight and helps relieve uncomfortable pressure points for optimal comfort. Mike's ultra soft outer layer is a patented temperature regulating cover that helps keep you at your ideal sleeping temperature all night long. Unlike other sleep systems costing thousands, the MyPillow mattress topper takes comfort to a whole new level without any wires, remotes, or moving parts. Call now or go to MyPillow.com to order your MyPillow topper. Use the promo code to save 30%. When you do, Mike will give you 2 of his standard MyPillows absolutely free. That's right, 2 standard MyPillows free and 30% off your MyPillow topper today. Order now.
I personally guarantee it's going to change your bed into the most comfortable bed you'll ever own.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Feel like you live a lot of your life online? The average person is connected almost 7 hours a day. And all that shopping, banking, browsing, and sharing could mean exposing your personal information. In fact, 64% of adults admit to risking online privacy for convenience. Is it any wonder that 26% of people had malware on one of their devices? Or that there's a victim of identity theft every 3 seconds? Your digital life may be in lots of places, but there's one place to help keep it safe. Norton 360 with LifeLock. With security to help block hackers from your devices, a VPN to help keep your online activity private, and LifeLock identity theft protection. Now, you can get up to 25% off your first year of Norton 360 with LifeLock with promo code TV offer. Call to start your membership or visit lifelock.com/TV offer.
This is the second hour of America's Voice Live on the Friday before Election Day, October 30th, 2020. I'm Tudor Dixon here with my friend Steve Gruber. Steve, let's take a look at the top stories of the day.
Well, Tudor, as you know, we are now in the final days of campaign 2020, heading into the final weekend here. And Joe Biden has decided maybe he'll join the fun on the campaign trail. No, believe it or not, Joe's going out to be with the president. Both have 3 campaign stops today.
And while these candidates are buzzing around the country, officials in big cities are boarding up buildings and ramping up security in preparation for riots on election night.
And the FBI has confirmed there is an open criminal investigation involving Hunter Biden. It's been confirmed now, business dealings, but you should know it's not new. It's been open and active, this criminal investigation, since 2019.
Of course, any information on Hunter Biden is being suppressed on social media because we are very close to this election day. In fact, let's take a look at that election countdown.
We are now 4 days out from the election of 2020. Both candidates fighting for votes, especially in Florida, where both President Trump and Joe Biden stopped yesterday. Even with 70 million plus ballots cast around the country so far, there are still about another 70 million to go. And of course, that could be the outcome of the election. When it comes to the election, there are 2 very different messages out there. The president is focused on the economy and the comeback and opening up the different states so that people can keep their businesses going. Here's part of what he had to say during that Tampa stop.
Under Biden's lockdown, countless Americans will die from suicide, drug overdoses, deferred medical care, abuse. The thing that's happening to families is the cure. Remember, I said it right at the beginning. The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. And you have Michigan locked down. You have all Democrat governors. You know what's going to happen? On November 4th, the day after the election, they're going to open it up. They're doing it for political reasons because it's so bad for their state. And they think our numbers are going to look a little worse. California's pretty much locked down. New York's got to open. New York is becoming a very unsafe ghost town. Governor, open up the state, Governor. Open up the state.
Now the message from Joe Biden, very different. He says, believe it or not, that we should not be politicizing the virus itself. Strange, considering his running mate said she wouldn't take the vaccine if one were presented and it came by way of President Trump. But that is the message from the Biden campaign. Nonetheless, listen in.
And we shouldn't be politicizing the race for a vaccine. We should be planning for its safe use and free and equitable distribution, providing PPE for national standards for schools, businesses to open safely. I laid out a plan back in May how to do that. Bringing together Republicans and Democrats to deliver economic relief that's already been passed by the Democratic House of Representatives for working families, for schools and businesses. I've said it before, I'm not going to shut down the economy. I'm not going to shut down the country. I'm going to shut down the virus.
How exactly he would do that remains as clear as mud. We have no idea how he would do that, Tudor, but at least he keeps saying it.
Yeah, he's not getting points for his demeanor, though. He keeps yelling it. I don't know if I would say he's saying it. He keeps yelling it. But we also have someone in Florida today, so we want to head out there. Our own Miranda Khan is on the street. What are the people out there in Florida saying, Miranda?
Well, we're going to go to that in just a moment, but as Steve just mentioned, more than 6 million Floridians have already cast their ballots so far in the state. To put that in perspective, that's nearly 50% of all registered Florida voters here, and about 70% of whom voted during the 2016 election. Joining us now is one of those voters now, Jack Caesar, who spends his time. Go ahead, come on in, Jack. Who spends your time? You kind of share between New York and Florida. You've already cast your vote. You did mail-in ballot. You voted for Biden. Tell us real quickly why you decided to vote for Biden.
Well, to be honest with you, I don't like either one of them. I always thought a younger generation should be taken over. We don't need anybody 70 years old, close to death, representing our country. And I don't mind. Yes, I did vote for Biden only because he has compassion. He felt the pain in his life. He shows the pain where the other president, Mr. Trump, only cares about himself. Now, in 2016, I don't disagree with the people voting for Trump because they hate all politicians. We vote them in, they vote us out. Now, 4 years later, we get to see, and as a 57-year-old adult with an education, if somebody's lying in front of my face every day, I hope I'm educated enough to actually see that. And what bothers me is people just listen to news, whether it's Fox, CNN, and just think it's the truth. Stop being lazy. Educate yourself by finding out the truth yourself, then make an educated vote. We can't afford any longer. We need term limits. Well,
we have term limits when it comes to the president, but you're referring to term limits when it comes to members of Congress right now.
Yes.
And so you talked about age, not to interrupt you, but you talked about age. A lot of people are concerned, especially when it comes to Biden's age. He is almost 78 years old. A lot of people are thinking that he may not survive, if elected, a full term, and that Kamala Harris, his vice presidential candidate, will in fact be president of the United States. She has been considered by many reports to be considered one of the most liberal senators out there. What is your assessment of that?
Well, first of all, just look at Joe Biden, see the shape he's in for 78. Then look at the other one. So who would die first? That's very easy. Biden's not going to die first. Obese.
Wait a minute. So are you referring to the fact that you think that Biden's in better shape than Trump?
Just look at it. Yeah.
Well, okay, so I'm just going to play devil's advocate here. A lot of people have criticized Biden for being in his so-called basement there, not campaigning as much as he has here in recent days, whereas you've seen the president do rally after rally. He did 3 the other days, expected to do, I believe, almost as many as 5 here in the coming days. A lot of people have argued otherwise.
Well, that's not true. Biden's been out there. He's been out
the whole time?
Well, at first he's in his basement because he's trying to protect and do what the CDC tells everybody to do. But the president doesn't care if hundreds of thousands more people are going to die. If it was your mother, your father, your sister, or your brother dying.
So what's the underlining issue? You said compassion. Is that the bottom line? Is that the main reason? Excuse me, I dropped a piece of paper. But is that the main reason why you're voting for Biden?
No, I really don't want to vote for either one. I want the younger generation.
So when you say younger generation, a lot of people have criticized Biden, saying that he is so much as a puppet, if you will, when it comes to the squad. And of course, I'm referring to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and other members of the squad that are considered to be so-called progressives. Kamala Harris was recently asked that during an interview if she stood for the progressive movement. Is that a movement that you support? Is that something that you see not Hunter, but president, if he becomes president, is that something that you see Joe Biden leaning towards if he does in fact become president of the United States? Do you see him going to a more socialist, progressive platform?
Okay, people, when they hear that word socialist, you got to understand there's a difference between progressive socialist. He has a plan. It's on it. He's not going to the extent of AOC. But we do need to change. Take for oil what he made that comment on.
Are you in? Yes, he did make that comment.
Right. So, of course.
And he clarified it. Do you believe he is for the oil industry or against it?
Well, just like everything else in life, you have to progress, whether it's oil to electric. The world is changing. And we have to change.
All right, Chuck, thank you so much for joining us. That will do it for here. Again, both candidates are in a dead heat in Florida. We'll continue to keep our eyes open. Back to you guys.
America's favorite easy on, easy off energy compression socks just got better. Introducing Copperfit Energy Plus, the world's first graduated compression socks with a rich blend of ingredients found in the top moisturizing lotions and creams. These micro-encapsulated ingredients are infused into the compression fabric and are gradually released and absorbed by your movement. Motion-activated technology designed to hydrate and soften for all-day comfort. The more you move, the more Copperfit Energy Socks delivers.
I'm not thinking about that I have compression socks on. That simple fact that they feel better with them on than with them off makes me love these socks.
Our most advanced copper-infused compression fabric, made in FDA-approved manufacturing facilities, woven into our easy on, easy off graduated compression sock to help reduce swelling and discomfort from prolonged sitting or standing.
I feel that soothingness in my calves and in my ankles, but they can make my feet feel good after 300 miles on the road, and they got to be good for anybody else.
Enhanced compression around the arch and ankles for extra support and relief of muscle aches and pains. And a soft, shock-absorbing footbed for all-day comfort.
All that arch pain that I typically have is just relieved.
They are super comfortable.
They do the job. They're easy and they're effective. That's the whole point of wearing them.
Commercials always promise, promise, promise. This was something easy to try. Just put on a sock, see if it works. I have to say that I'm a fan.
The first ever easy on, easy off compression socks with hydrating ingredients, worn by thousands of essential workers across the U.S. Order your Energy Plus compression socks online now at GetEnergyPlus.com for only $19.99 or call 1-800-515-8892. Order right now and get a second pair free.
I get compression, I get comfort, all in one sock.
Motorcycle guys appreciate the better technology. This is better technology.
Feel the power of Copperfit.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm here to tell you about my new product from MyPillow. Towels that actually work. Watch this absorbency test. Here's another towel that we randomly went out and bought. Here's one of my towels with the nice design. I don't know if you can see this, but you could line a swimming pool with this. I mean, this is crazy. Get rid of it. Towels that actually work. What a concept.
I really love the towels. They're really great. They're super absorbent.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now. The new MyPillow towels are exclusively made with 100% USA combed cotton with proprietary technology and with maximum absorbency. They dry you faster and are guaranteed to work. And listen to this. Use the promo code on your screen and Mike will include a second full towel set with bath towel, hand towel, and washcloth absolutely free. That's 2 MyPillow towel sets for the price of 1 in your choice of color.
I personally guarantee they're going to be the best towels you'll ever own.
Order now.
Never a dull moment, Tudor. That's what I say around here on a Friday here. You're watching America's Voice Live.
There's apparently never a dull moment anywhere. I haven't been flying that much, but I told you the last time I did fly, I saw somebody who was arguing about their mask, but it seems like going up in the air these days is a total nightmare. So I want to go out to our West Coast correspondent, Amanda Head, because she has been flying a lot. I want to bring Amanda in. Amanda, have you seen this latest brawl, I guess I would say, on Spirit? Because seems a little crazy.
Yes. Yeah, and I have been traveling a lot, such that I think I have reached platinum status on practically every airline. But allow me to throw you guys a curveball. I just want to comment on what Miranda's interviewee said about compassion. And I happen to have this handy little article that pertains exactly to that, because he said that he didn't like either candidates, but he found Joe Biden to be more compassionate. So you guys know Joe Biden's history with his family members who have passed away. I want to read this excerpt. Just telling audiences the terrible story of the auto accident that killed his wife and daughter wasn't enough. For years, Biden also added that the driver of the truck that hit their car had been drunk. In fact, the driver wasn't charged with intoxication or any moving violation, and there's no evidence that he was even at fault. The memory of the crash tormented the man to his grave, and a powerful politician's casual denigration of their father tormented his children. When his daughter wrote to Biden to ask him to stop telling this lie, he wrote back to apologize, then a few years later resumed moving audiences to tears with the story about the drunk driver who had killed his family members. If we're going to talk about compassion, I think that man should be aware of the dozens of hostages that President Trump has brought home to their families. Perhaps the Jennifer Hudson story, when her family members were murdered and he put her and her other family members up in his Chicago hotel for free. So yeah, anyway, sorry to go off on that topic. I guess I have just reached my tolerance threshold for misinformation today. So regarding flights, this is Spirit Airlines. This is basically a public bus in the sky. It's, you know, I think if it were not for TSA regulations, they would have people flying on bales of hay. So it's not super surprising that this is happening on Spirit. They nickel and dime you for everything. I would imagine they give you a little bit of a discount if you do decide to wear a mask and don't cause utter mayhem, as you can see in this video. But this is basically a situation where people are being pitted against each other. You had a group of people who were wandering around the plane not wearing a mask, people who obviously took exception to that. I will say that numerous publications in the last few weeks have put out articles, one of which is CNN, talking about how you are much less likely to acquire COVID on a plane than anywhere else. It has to do with the filtration system, HEPA filters, things like that. And as you guys know, I have been crisscrossing this country back and forth. I do wear a mask on the plane and in the airport because I don't want to have a situation like this. But I will say that I have been around hundreds of thousands of people at Trump rallies, and I've been in, I'd say, 15 to 20 states in the last month and a half. And knock on wood, I'm still good.
Yeah, I don't see you throwing a haymaker over a mask. You know, maybe I'm wrong. I just don't see that. You know.
You're not big enough.
Yeah, and I'm kind of a slight person, so I don't know if I could really defend myself against someone who was, you know, bigger than I am. Okay, so my next story, let's talk about conservationism, because we are conservatives. We obviously care about wildlife. Well, the gray wolf, which is something that has been on our protected list for 45 years, is no longer on that list. The Department of Interior released this statement about it. After more than 45 years as a listed species, the gray wolf has exceeded all conservation goals for recovery. Today's announcement simply reflects the determination that this species is neither a threatened nor endangered species based on the specific factors Congress has laid out in the law. That was Interior Secretary David Bernhardt. And then also Doug LaMalfa, who is a Republican congressional congressman here in California, Turning gray wolf population management back over to the states and tribes will give back local control and inevitably save cattle, sheep, other livestock, and families from the threat of a gray wolf. This is a great win for the West, and I thank the Trump administration for consistently prioritizing agribusiness across America. So this is something that we have seen throughout President Trump's administration with national parks, that he is basically turning the purveyorship of these lands, basically turning it back over to the stewards of the land, whether it's a native tribe, whether it is a locality here in Northern California. This is where we do have a lot of gray wolves, and also in Washington, Oregon, and parts of the Midwest. So this to me is something that is a great thing. Of course, PETA is going absolutely nuts over it, as they are over a brand of coconut milk that was sold in Costco. It is a coconut milk brand from Thailand, and it's basically a they said versus they said. PETA is alleging that they use slave monkey labor, that they attach metal collars and metal chains around their neck and force them into trees to aggressively twist off these coconuts until they fall to the ground. They liken this to animal abuse, and the company has said repeatedly to numerous news organizations that in fact is not the case. Nevertheless, Costco has yanked that brand of coconut milk off the shelves, so I would say you might have to go somewhere else for your coconut milk.
If only we would get this upset about slave labor in China. A few months.
I would say that their anger and indignation is a little misplaced, but whatever.
Yeah, maybe the Uyghurs.
No, I mean, we celebrate the
yeah.
NBA. We celebrate these shoes being brought in. We celebrate LeBron James celebrating the NBA in China, and yet no one talks about what's going on. I mean, I think animals are important too, but I also think if you're going to jump on the coconut bandwagon slave of slave monkeys, you should also think about humans that are being treated like slaves. It is a serious problem around the world, but we simply don't talk about it. You're watching America's Voice Live.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I guarantee you they'll be the most comfortable sheets you'll ever own.
With the Giza Dream Sheets, I'm getting the best sleep of my life. They are so soft and smooth. I never slept so good.
I fall asleep faster because I'm actually comfortable.
I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable, which is why I can give you my full 10-year warranty. But I didn't stop there. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow, and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. I guarantee you the first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now. MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors and will be the softest, most comfortable sheets you will ever own. Use the promo code and get 2 for 1 low price, plus free shipping. Giza Dreams are made with the finest, most sought-after cotton in the world. Giza cotton was once reserved for only the finest dress shirts, but is now available in Mike's Giza Dream Sheets. They feature a beautiful silky sateen weave that helps keep you cool and comfortable all night long.
With the Giza Dream Sheets, I'm getting the best rest of my life.
I love my Giza Dream Sheets.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Use the promo code and Mike will give you a very special 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. That's right, get 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. Call or go online now.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
If you're over 50, imagine you could turn back the clock on your stiff, achy joints 10, even 20 years. Imagine you could do this without products that just temporarily hide the symptoms and may have side effects. Imagine no more. Get your complimentary sample of Instaflex Advanced just by texting JOINT to 231231. Instaflex Advanced is different because it targets the root cause of joint soreness and stiffness. It doesn't just cover up symptoms. Instead, it bathes your joints in its unique combination of 5 key natural ingredients found in no other product. Key ingredients backed by 5 clinical studies. Instaflex Advanced is so powerful, you could have better knees in just 1 week. Maybe that's why it's #1 at GNC. But you can only get your complimentary sample by texting JOINT to 231231. Plus, text now and we'll include a tube of Instaflex pain cream with its exclusive oxygenated oil for fast-acting relief from the pain of arthritis, backaches, and sore muscles, absolutely free. Text JOINT to 231231.
We are 4 days from Election Day, and the polls are all over the place right now, but there are some folks who say they have special insight into what's going to happen in the presidential election. One evangelical actually predicted 2016. That is Lance Wallnau, and our own Miranda Kahn had the chance to sit down with him. Let's peek into that now.
All right, now let's turn our attention back to the presidential election. Again, we are just 4 days away and finding out if President Trump will continue for a second term. One person who predicted his first win sees him being reelected. We are joined now by noted Christian speaker Lance Wallnau, who predicted that 2016 win. And Lance, you're one of the few, I think only 2 polls actually got it right, but you wrote an article that was published in Charisma magazine titled "Why I Believe Trump is the Prophesied President." Why did you come up with that conclusion in 2016, and why do you believe that he's going to win again in 2020?
Well, the interesting thing about that first article was I actually was interviewed about Trump because I had predicted, kind of more like a futurist than anything else, that there was going to be a populist uprising and that somebody was going to have to answer the question as to who is speaking for the Americans that actually don't have a voice. And Donald Trump actually emerged as the obvious person. But what struck me as strange is, because I'm a kind of a biblical student, I noticed that there's a pattern with American history. And American history was sending us into a crucible, and that crucible would produce either a leader like a Churchill or a Lincoln, a non-religious person who would actually become a leader that the religious community could identify with. And I saw early on that Donald Trump was going to be a surprising candidate for that. So we could predict that, and 85% of the evangelical community actually ended up warming up to him, which was kind of a surprise to them because he wasn't one of them.
Yeah, I remember that quite vividly. You also believe, though, and a lot of people agree with you, that the Supreme Court will likely play a key role in the final outcome, at least when it comes to this election. Why is that?
Well, you know, once again, it kind of it looks like for those people that look at the patterns of stuff, there's something interesting about how in every area that Donald Trump was resisted in his presidency, with Russia and Ukraine, and even the information that's coming out now regarding the Biden family, it looks as though there's been a really injustice that's been going on and it hasn't been addressed. So there's kind of an irony that he would be able to appoint a third justice, a justice that probably is going to be decisive, because America has such a fault line of division in their opinion on stuff that it looks like more and more we go to final verdicts coming from the court. And so it just seems to be inevitable that if the ballots come in and Trump receives a mandate that looks like an electoral mandate, it's going to be fought out and contended. It's going to end up in the courts.
Yeah, so very interesting to see what's going to happen. Is there any areas where evangelicals could see the president improving upon?
The complaint that they have with Donald Trump is always the same. It's a complaint of style. I'm almost amused at the fact that in terms of what he does, he delivers every single moment that we look for a decisive action, whether it's on pro-life or whether it's on matters of Israel, for instance. He does exactly the right thing, but he does it in a way that is offensive to refined, I don't care if you're a refined Republican in the Beltway or if you're a refined religious person. Donald Trump, his style is not designed to appeal to you. Mike Pence's style appeals to evangelicals, but Mike Pence isn't the guy you want in a street fight. And America is in a battle right now. Donald Trump is more like a Samson than anything else. You may not like his style, but he gets the job done.
And that was our own Miranda Kahn. Tune into her show every weekday at noon. It is News On with Miranda Kahn. I liked what he was saying. He had a lot of interesting points, but it goes along with what we talked to John Stemberger about yesterday. A lot of evangelicals the first time around said no way to Trump, but they've seen the changes in his protections of religious liberty, and they've changed their mind. We'll see what happens on Election Day.
Stay tuned to get a free pan from Granite Stone. Stuck on eggs, burnt on batter. You can scrub and scrape, but you can't escape the nightmare of your sticky pans. Introducing the Granite Stone Pan, the all-new durable non-stick pan. No butter or oil needed. Watch, we melted down these sticky candies in Granite Stone, and it just doesn't stick. We cooked a half a dozen eggs, bacon, cheese, and tomato breakfast with no butter or oil, and it just doesn't stick. Look, caramels, chocolate, and cheese. Unreal for any other pan, but not for Granite Stone. It just doesn't stick. Granite Stone will be the last pan you'll ever need because it's pressed from a solid aluminum disc for even heat conduction. Then coated 3 times with our durable Granite Stone finish. Granite Stone is metal utensil safe and won't scratch. And talk about non-stick. This salmon cooked skin side down with no added butter or oil just doesn't stick. This steak is perfectly seared just like the pros. And because Granite Stone is oven rated to 500 degrees, we bake this upside down pan pizza to perfection, and it just doesn't stick. Fire Flambe Delicious Cherries Jubilee. Plus it's PFOA free and 100% dishwasher safe. Call or go online to get your Granite Stone pan for the special TV discount price of just $19.99. Granite Stone is so durable it comes with a 10-year warranty. And with every order, you're going to get a Granite Stone single-serve egg pan absolutely free. It's the perfect size for personalized eggs, omelets, or frittatas that slide right out. It makes the best bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich quick. Yours absolutely free. We'll even ship your entire order free. That's right, free shipping. You get it all, an incredible value. Here's how to order.
To order, call 1-800-850-0237. That's 1-800-850-0237, or order online at buygranitestone.com. That's 1-800-850-0237. Call now.
Feel like you live a lot of your life online? The average person is connected almost 7 hours a day. And all that shopping, banking, browsing, and sharing could mean exposing your personal information. In fact, 64% of adults admit to risking online privacy for convenience. Is it any wonder that 26% of people had malware on one of their devices? Or that there's a victim of identity theft every 3 seconds? Your digital life may be in lots of places, but there's one place to help keep it safe. Norton 360 with LifeLock. With security to help block hackers from your devices, a VPN to help keep your online activity private, and LifeLock identity theft protection. Now you can get up to 25% off your first year of Norton 360 with LifeLock with promo code TV offer. Call to start your membership or visit lifelock.com/TV offer.
Earlier today here on Real America's Voice, I had the opportunity to speak with Mayor Rudy Giuliani again about the investigation into Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, James Biden, and the Biden family. And he told me here during the Steve Gruber show earlier today that he said it would be the easiest RICO case that he would ever put together because the evidence is so clear and convincing that he would charge Joe Biden with 5 counts of taking a bribe plus a conspiracy running more than 20 years. We now know that the FBI has an open investigation, a criminal investigation into Hunter Biden that has been confirmed. It's been going on since at least December of 2019. And in a moment, we'll be meeting M.A. Taylor here in the program. He is the man behind Riding the Dragon, a movie about the Biden family, their connections to China, and all the things that they're up to. I want to give you a little bit of an example of the movie, Riding the Dragon. Watch this.
Hunter Biden's small investment firm announced a $1 billion private equity deal with the Chinese government. China is America's chief rival on the global stage, and nobody should know that better than Joe Biden. But Joe Biden talks about China differently.
China is not our enemy.
Not a problem. What are we worried about? Come on, man.
He doesn't see them as a threat. He welcomes their rise as a global power. Why exactly? Perhaps it's personal. Perhaps it's about his family. Perhaps it's about the money. But this isn't just another story about a politician's kid getting rich. Hunter's new firm started making investment deals that would serve the strategic interests of the Chinese military. This is the remarkable and largely hidden story of the secret financial relationship between the Biden family and the Chinese government. And it's a story that has been largely never told.
In fact, it's pretty much not been told at all. M.A. Taylor, great to have you here on the program today. It is such a fascinating look behind the curtain, if you will, of the Chinese Communist Party and the Biden family's complex connections all over China. Thank you for being here. What drove you to make this movie?
Well, you know, Joe Biden is probably the most unvetted presidential candidate in the history of America. Nobody has looked into his past, his business dealings, and even when things come to light, the press is largely in a blackout mode. And so it is important that these deals and these connections are highlighted, are put into a easily consumable package. And that is why we made a documentary with Peter Schweitzer based on his research that lays out the narrative clearly so the audience can make a judgment on Election Day.
Matthew, let me ask you a question I asked Rudy Giuliani earlier today on this network, and that is it possible that this is all being overlooked for a brief period of time because the evidence seems overwhelming? You've got the laptop, the hard drive, you've got corroborating evidence. The Bidens aren't denying any of those connections to China and elsewhere. Is it possible that they're hoping for Joe Biden to get elected on the 3rd of November and then say, you know what, Joe, we've got this problem here, move him out of the way, move Kamala Harris into the White House? Is that a possibility?
I mean, at this point, this is unprecedented how this is being handled. So anything is possible. I mean, clearly the press and big tech and everybody wants Joe Biden to become president no matter what. What is their end goal? Well, we know what the Chinese end goal is. We know Joe will help them get there. And if it's to move Kamala into place, anything is possible at this point in time.
So why would they do these things to benefit the Chinese Communist Party? Because that's the biggest rub of all here. We've seen lots of politicians and their kids get rich over the years. Somehow we turn a blind eye to it as Americans. But to help out the Chinese Communist Party, becoming fast our biggest military rival and economic rival on the planet, that borders on treasonous behavior to me.
Mm-hmm. That's the $64 million question. I mean, why would you help transfer nuclear technology, F-35 technology to our enemy that will be used to kill American troops were we to ever go to war with China over, say, the South China Seas? It's probably purely greed. This is a money laundering operation that they put together. It's not even that sophisticated, say, compared to the Clinton Foundation, which is a much more sophisticated operation. It seems to be put together, slapped together. I mean, you can read it in the emails. They're just, it's very open. And that's why the fact that it's not being covered is so surprising, and that anyone can look at who sits on these boards, how these companies are structured, which is primarily what we cover in the film.
Sure. Now, let me go a little bit deeper here. What are some of the things that you uncovered, some of the things that you saw happening and the enrichment of the Biden family? Because we know it's Joe, it's Jim, it's Hunter, it's the whole group that is doing exceptionally well.
Well, you know, it's interesting because the film outlines a number of their businesses, and what you see is a pattern of corruption. And essentially, some of the more egregious ones is, of course, Bohai Harvest, which received $1 billion and eventually $1.5 billion investment from the Chinese government after a trip that Hunter took with his father after he took over the Asian pivot. And some of the deals that were made, for example, Henniges in Michigan, which was an automotive company that made dual-use technology. Hunter essentially aided the Chinese in buying this company. Michigan workers who are voting on November 3rd would be surprised to find out that they are building technologies for the Chinese military. I'm sure they don't know that, and that's why we outline it very clearly in our film.
At a minimum, Matthew, the film's riding the dragon. At the minimum, Hunter Biden would be required to register as a foreign agent. I mean, that's just textbook if you're going to do any sort of a deal, whether it's China or Russia or Ukraine. Your work focuses on China, but you would have to register as a foreign agent. I mean, that's the minimum requirement, is it not?
Well, absolutely. And of course, we've seen other people who have worked overseas go to jail in the last couple of years who were, say, connected to officials in the government. And so the fact that this has been overlooked, I mean, again, there are some criminal or potential criminal offenses here. And the fact that the FBI has been sitting on this for a very, very long time and has not made a move, are they waiting for Joe Biden to be elected and then they're going to make a move? It doesn't seem likely that they'll do anything. And again, this is unprecedented in American history that the press and the law enforcement, the government would turn a blind eye to this kind of behavior.
Well, they haven't vetted him at all, just as you said. He is the least vetted presidential candidate in American history. You're exactly right about that. And when he is protected by the major publications and then social media forms an electronic defense circle around him as well, it's hard to get these stories out. Let me ask you something before we run out of time here, Matthew, and that is simply this. Do you trust Christopher Wray? Do you believe the FBI is doing the due diligence, doing the investigation? Apparently, Bobulinski is now a material witness in this. They find him credible, and Hunter Biden being investigated at all. We've got about 30 seconds here. What about Christopher Wray? What about the FBI?
Look, I'm not sure I particularly trust the FBI since they've been sitting on this for so long. They clearly could move on something. There's so many different things to move on here. And the fact that they make no acknowledgement until now, days from the election, is deeply concerning, especially since Joe Biden would be in charge of the FBI eventually if he were to become president.
All right, tell the folks. Come on, folks. Where can they see the film right now today? You got 10 seconds.
BidenFilm.com. It's free on YouTube in a 41-minute segment or 6 parts.
There you go. M.A. Taylor, greatly appreciated. Good conversation. Riding the Dragon is the film. Go check that out today. And I wish you well in getting this movie put out there. It is a Friday as we head into the final few days of the election. Very busy here at America's Voice Live. Tudor, Dixon will be back right after this.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I guarantee you they'll be the most comfortable sheets you'll ever own.
With the Giza Dream Sheets, I'm getting the best sleep of my life. They are so soft and smooth. I never slept so good.
I fall asleep faster because I'm actually comfortable.
I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable, which is why I can give you my full 10-year warranty. But I didn't stop there. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. I guarantee you the first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now. MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors and will be the softest, most comfortable sheets you will ever own. Use the promo code and get 2 for 1 low price, plus free shipping. Giza Dreams are made with the finest, most sought-after cotton in the world. Giza cotton was once reserved for only the finest dress shirts, but is now available in Mike's Giza Dream Sheets. They feature a beautiful silky sateen weave that helps keep you cool and comfortable all night long.
With the Giza Dream Sheets, I'm getting the best rest of my life.
I love my Giza Dream Sheets.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Use the promo code and Mike will give you a very special 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. That's right, get 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. Call or go online now.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
This is the kind of card that has America talking. With it, people with Medicare are getting all-in-one coverage for their doctor visits, hospital care, prescription drugs, and more. This kind of insurance, called Medicare Part C, may also cover dental care, eyeglasses, hearing aids, fitness programs, vitamins, even healthy meals and rides to the doctor. With this kind of coverage, you do not need a Medicare supplement insurance plan. You will access your benefits through your Medicare Part C plan for one low and oftentimes $0 monthly plan premium. You deserve to get the most from your Medicare benefits. Call now for free information that may help you get more coverage for less money. There is no obligation to enroll. Whether for yourself or someone you love, call the number on the screen now. Call now.
Well, we keep hearing about a mass exodus from New York City, and some people are saying they just have to get out of there. It's become so dangerous. My suggestion, though, to you is that if you have decided to stay in New York City, maybe you tap around on the ground before you walk, because something bizarre happened recently. Take a look at this video. You have to look very closely to see what's happening. There is a man that walks across the concrete there, and he gets pulled in. Oh, you see him. He gets pulled right into the concrete there in a sinkhole in New York City. There's the hole. He was down there for half an hour. He had been walking with his mother when he fell right into that sinkhole. The most disturbing part about this, I think, not only did the man break his arm and his leg, his face had lacerations on it from going through the concrete, but when he fell through that hole, he was surrounded by lots and lots of rats. In fact, so many rats, he didn't even want to speak to the people above him because he was afraid to open his mouth for fear one of those rats may crawl in. So he couldn't even tell them what his injuries were. He just wanted somebody to get him out of there as quickly as possible. We know that the most rattiest city list just came out, and New York City did make the top 10. It was not the rattiest city, but it did make the top 10. Now, speaking of New York City, I want to bring in my next guest, and I'm not doing his city very much justice right now with my ratty story, but I do want to bring in Michael Fisher. He is the president of New York Central Park South Civic Association. Michael, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I want to talk to you about something that maybe isn't on the minds of a lot of Americans right now, because we are so consumed with what's happening with us, with this election, with this virus. But you've been advocating for a group of folks that really, really need it, and that is the homeless population. We've heard so many stories about what's going on in San Francisco. Just recently, we heard the stories about the homeless people in New York, up on the Upper West Side. Folks were complaining about there was no place to put them. They really are in a rough situation, especially with the virus. You've actually seen an increase. What are you doing about this?
Well, you know, the big problem is that politicians have completely ignored the homeless crisis. I mean, they write these big checks to, you know, rent or buy out these buildings and just stuff people into these buildings or these hotels, but they're really not doing anything to help them. And the problem is getting worse and worse. I mean, in New York City, we have over 70,000 homeless people. A couple of years, it could be 140,000 homeless people. The politicians need to make this their top priority, you know, in the next coming years, because otherwise it's going to get worse and worse. I mean, nationally, we have over 600,000 homeless people, and it's just getting worse and worse.
But in San Francisco, they had, just 2 years ago, they had over $300 million to fight this homelessness problem. And the homelessness problem has increased probably at least threefold in that city since they got that money. They continually ask for more money. What do you think is the answer for these politicians to get involved? It seems like that money is not going to the right places.
Right, it's not. I mean, they're putting homeless people in five-star hotels. They're dropping these hotels in, you know, in communities where then you see an uptick in crime. You see, you know, homeless people defecating in the streets, drug use. You see needles in the streets. It's just not the right way to go about it. What they should be doing is they should be a couple of things. One, you know, putting together a plan and a solution to the problem. Putting homeless people in you know, hotels isn't going to resolve the problem. They need to have, you know, they need to put together programs where they rehabilitate them. They also don't need to spend these billions of dollars. I mean, the federal government and the state government own land where they can put up buildings, or where buildings exist that are vacant. You have military bases that aren't being used. You can use those bases where you can create modern rehabilitation facilities. Today, there shouldn't be any homeless people on the streets. They should be put in rehabilitation programs, helped, and a lot of them can be helped to get them back into jobs and maybe into affordable housing. But what government is doing today is they're allowing the homeless to stay in the streets, and they're rotting away. I mean, you walk out of your apartments, you literally see these homeless people rotting away on the streets. Shame on them for doing that, the government. It shouldn't be allowed. It's a horrible situation. And it's not everybody says it's complex. It's not that complex. What we should also be doing is partnering with the federal government to put together these programs. This is a national crisis. It's just not a crisis that's occurring in New York or California or Seattle or any of the other cities. It's happening all over the place, and we need to partner with the federal government. We need to sit down, have a summit, and put together some programs where we can get rid of this problem. The city New York City spends $3 billion a year on the homeless crisis, and the crisis is getting worse and worse and worse. I mean, the homeless are living in subways, they're living in Penn Station, they're all over the streets, and they do have shelters, but the majority of the homeless people that are mentally ill on the streets don't go into the shelters because they're afraid they're going to be robbed, or beat up, so they stay in the streets. It's not a good situation for them, and it's not a good situation for the public that has to live under those types of situations.
Michael, we just have about 45 seconds left. I want you to tell me, what do you think the answer is in this election for this? Do you think that you have a better chance of solving this problem with a Joe Biden presidency or a President Trump presidency?
I would have to say President Trump, because he's a doer. He makes things happen. I think Biden maybe tells a story, but he doesn't actually follow up with it. You need somebody who's going to follow up with things. I mean, I was actually working on trying to get a summit together with Trump, and they were ready to do it, but then we got into this whole crisis, with the virus and everything. So, yeah, I think we have a better shot, with Trump at this point. I really do.
Yeah, the crisis has been very disturbing, but what you just said, we've had so many guests just in this week say the president was willing to sit at the table, the president was willing to listen. I think that's an important thing for the American public to know, that this is a president that is available to the American public he wants to hear. Michael Fisher, thank you so much for coming on. Valuable information there that a lot of people are not focused on right now, but we absolutely, as Americans, need to think of all Americans. We have these politicians focused on these illegal immigrants. Our own American people need the politicians to step up. You're watching America's Voice Live.
America's favorite easy on, easy off energy compression socks just got better. Introducing CopperFit Energy Plus, the world's first graduated compression socks with a rich blend of ingredients found in the top moisturizing lotions and creams. These microencapsulated ingredients are infused into the compression fabric and are gradually released and absorbed by your movement. Motion-activated technology designed to hydrate and soften for all-day comfort. The more you move, the more CopperFit Energy Socks delivers.
I'm not thinking about that I have compression socks on. That simple fact that they feel better with them on than with them off makes me love these socks.
Our most advanced copper-infused compression fabric, made in FDA-approved manufacturing facilities, woven into our easy on, easy off graduated compression sock to help reduce swelling and discomfort from prolonged sitting or standing.
I feel that soothingness in my calves and in my ankles, but they can make my feet feel good after 300 miles on the road, and they got to be good for anybody else.
Enhanced compression around the arch and ankles for extra support and relief of muscle aches and pains. And a soft, shock-absorbing footbed for all-day comfort.
All that arch pain that I typically have is just relieved.
They are super comfortable.
They do the job. They're easy and they're effective. That's the whole point of wearing them.
Commercials always promise, promise, promise. This was something easy to try. Just put on a sock, see if it works. I have to say that I'm a fan.
The first ever easy on, easy off compression socks with hydrating ingredients, worn by thousands of essential workers across the U.S. Order your Energy Plus compression socks online now at GetEnergyPlus.com for only $19.99 or call 1-800-515-8892. Order right now and get a second pair free.
I get compression, I get comfort, all in one sock.
Motorcycle guys appreciate the better technology. This is better technology.
Feel the power of CopperFit.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm here to tell you about my new product from MyPillow. Towels that actually work. Watch this absorbency test. Here's another towel that we randomly went out and bought. Here's one of my towels with the nice design. I don't know if you can see this, but you could line a swimming pool with this. I mean, this is crazy. Get rid of it. Towels that actually work. What a concept.
I really love the towels. They're really great. They're super absorbent.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now. The new MyPillow towels are exclusively made with 100% USA combed cotton with proprietary technology and with maximum absorbency. They dry you faster and are guaranteed to work. And listen to this. Use the promo code on your screen and Mike will include a second full towel set with bath towel, hand towel, and washcloth absolutely free. That's 2 MyPillow towel sets for the price of 1 in your choice of color.
I personally guarantee they're going to be the best towels you'll ever own.
Order now.
Welcome back to America's Voice Live. It's almost Halloween. I am so excited for it. I was actually way more excited for Halloween before I was a parent, and I thought that would not be the case. But now I'm always stressed that I have to run home and get 4 people in costumes, but I am still very excited for it. And to celebrate Halloween, I want to bring in Jessica Rivera in our Denver studios because she's got some great Halloween stories for you all.
Right, Tudor. It is still fun as a parent, of course. Halloween 2020 this year will not be looking the same as any other Halloween that we've seen before, obviously due to the pandemic. And it really stinks, Tudor, because this is the first Halloween, obviously, in many years that it falls on a Saturday. So it would have been the perfect year to go big and have a bunch of Halloween parties and things, and then people didn't have to worry about kids getting up early in the morning and staying out late. But across the nation, some places will be still celebrating on a smaller scale, while others will not be at all. But wherever you are, there is still no reason not to celebrate or enjoy the festivities, according to Good Housekeeping. If you're staying home, you can still have fun by going ghosting, which means you can make up little cute treat bags and secretly drop them off on porches. You can play Halloween themed music and dance around. You can make spooky snacks, sweets, and drinks. That sounds fun. Put a Halloween playlist together to dance or just listen to. There are always Halloween movies that will be on, endless. Halloween crafts, face painting, and of course, we know now in 2020, everything has gone virtual almost. So another great way to get together is to virtually get together with your friends and have a virtual Halloween party. But Tudor, so now for the scarier side of Halloween, check this next video out. It's from Las Vegas, Nevada. You can see Michael Myers is on horseback just on the side of the highway, you know, just like any normal day. The guy who filmed it posted it on Facebook saying, Vegas friends, be careful. Michael Myers escaped from CCDC. I'm imagining that's the correctional facility close by, and apparently stole a horse. So Tudor, I know this is broad daylight and it's just someone having fun for the occasion, but Michael Myers as a child, it creeped me out then, still creeps me out. I would not have been able to even film. I would have driven so far away from Michael Myers. I don't know, what would you have done?
No, I think this is actually terrifying, although I think it would have been scarier had he not waved. Like, he should not be so friendly. You know?
Yeah, it kind of throws you off, right?
You're like a stabbing motion instead of just like, hello, hi.
Absolutely.
And why is he on a horse? Was that a thing? I never really watched those movies.
No, a horse was not a thing. I think it's just because it's the place and the guy probably has a horse and thought it would be a cool little ad, and it was. But now, Tudor, for a cuter side of Halloween, this next video is beyond cute. You can see this toddler. She's living her best life, really, and I can't blame her. She's at a Halloween dance party, and look at her go. I mean, there was nobody else dancing. It looks like it was like some sort of like kid-themed Halloween party. Nobody else was dancing, but she didn't care. She was gonna rock out, and she did, and so cute. And this last one, we're going back to the creepy side of Halloween. This is for all my Sasquatch-believing friends. In Arlington, Texas, police got called out to an unknown animal as big as a gorilla. That's what was called in. And when they arrived, they found out it was a man on stilts testing out his new elaborate Halloween costume. The man named the costume Psy for the psychological image of fear. And all I have to say, Tudor, to the man is, you win, game over. I think he was successful.
I think he was. I always love when it's near Halloween and people call the police because they see things that are terrifying. That is exactly what you said. It's a sign that you have won Halloween. If you are terrifying enough that you actually have the police called on you because people think you're a Sasquatch, that's perfect. I love it.
And the guy was so nice. He was like, oh, I just was trying this out. I thought it would be easier at night. I didn't think it would be a big deal. But apparently it works. His costume works. So I don't know where he's going to wear it or if he's just creating it for himself. I don't know if he's a hobbyist. But like I said, he won. He wins the test.
He does win. And you all win this weekend. Have a happy Halloween, everybody. But stay tuned because the National Pulse is next. We'll be back on Monday.
Stay tuned to get a free pan from Granite Stone. Stuck on eggs, burnt on batter. You can scrub and scrape, but you can't escape the nightmare of your sticky pans. Introducing the Granite Stone Pan, the all-new durable non-stick pan. No butter or oil needed. Watch, we melted down these sticky candies in Granite Stone, and it just doesn't stick. We cooked a half a dozen eggs, bacon, cheese, and tomato breakfast with no butter or oil, and it just doesn't stick. Look, caramels, chocolate, and cheese. Unreal for any other pan, but not for Granite Stone. It just doesn't stick. Granite Stone will be the last pan you'll ever need because it's pressed from a solid aluminum